Good morning. Mm, We'll continue our discussion on strings um, with the additional methods that are there in string class. So till now we were discussing the string buffer class. At the end, we are discussing some of the additional methods that are present in both of those classes. So in a string class, so there is a code point method, code point at int I. So this particular method returns the Unicode point at a location specified by the index I. So again, this has been added in the Java 5. So on any string, so you can call this method. So it will return the Unicode point at that location. So here location means it is the index. Code point before. So this code point before, it returns the Unicode point at a location preceding to the index specified by I. So code point count, start and end. So this particular method returns the number of code points that are present in the portion of an invoking string between the starting index and ending index -1. So Unicode code point. So it is nothing but the Unicode of a particular memory location. So here we are not saying characters, but it is a Unicode point, because character means it is 1 byte, whereas Unicode it is 2 bytes. Next, Boolean contains character sequences passed. So this is a method that returns true if the invoking object contains the string that is specified in the str. Otherwise, it will return false. So if we are searching for a substring in a given string, then this method can be used, that is contains. So string dot contains, within the parenthesis we can give the character sequence. Boolean content equals character sequence. So this method returns a Boolean value true if the invoking string contains the same character sequence as the one that has been passed in the parameter. If it is present, so it will return true, else it will return false. So that is useful in checking the contents. So again the same method, so it is overloaded. So instead of characters sequence as a string, we can also pass a string buffer also. Next, static string format, string formatter, then object arguments. So this is a static method. So it returns a string formatted as specified by the format string. Okay. So this has to do with the formatting. So like the date formatting or time formatting that can be done using the locally. Okay. So the format we can specify here, in what format we want the date or time. In that format, so it will convert the given parameters and return the string. Boolean matches. So this particular Boolean matches, so it returns true if the invoking string matches the regular expression. So regular expression is passed over here. So if the regular expression is matched in the given string, then it will return true, else it is false. So standardized the regular expression have a notation to identify the range of integers, range of characters, or any character matching in dot star, repetition of characters. So like that. So regular expression matching can be done over here. So the other methods include split method. So this is a very predominantly used string method. So it returns an array of string. Here the regular expression is given. So what does this method do is it will split the given invoking string into parts and return the each part in an array. So each part is delimited by a regular expression that has been passed over here. So in a lengthy string, if we want to cut it into pieces, then we can use this split method. So on what basis we are going to split the string, that we have to specify as a regular expression. Suppose if we have a sentence and we want to get the words, then it is obvious that we are going to split it based on a space. Or if we have a comma separated lengthy string, so then we can specify the comma as the splitting character. So on what basis you want to split the string, so that has to be specified in the regular expression. And each part of a string is passed in this array. So an overloaded version is present for this split. So and additionally we can specify the max. So this max indicates the number of splits we want. So the maximum how many splits we want, so that we can specify. So this max value should be a positive one. So if this max value is negative, then the invoking string is fully decomposed. So decompose means fully split. So otherwise, if this is a non-zero value, then the last entry in the returned array contains the remainder of the invoking string. So the remaining part, entire thing will be in the last location. So if we want to specify only 5 parts are there, so in the 5th part, the entire remaining string will be present. So next, character sequence subsequence. So subsequence, so we can obtain the part of a string as a character sequence. So it returns a substring of a invoking string beginning at start index and it will stop at the second index position, that is the stop index. So this method is required by the character sequence interface. So this uh, method is implemented in the string class itself. So here the return is a character sequence. So again, this subsequence is used, can be used to extract the substring from a given string. Next one is offset by code points. So again, this deals with the code points of a Unicode characters. So here we can obtain the what is the from the starting index, how many offset are present based on the index position. So it returns the index with invoking string, the number of code points beyond the starting index specified by the start. So how many code points are there? So that will be returned based on the index. So we will specify the starting index and number of code points. So two things we are passing. So first one is the index, start is the index, and number is the number of code points. Then at the end of these many number of code points, what is the new index? So that will be returned by the offset by code points method. Then replace method. So here replace first is there. So replace first. So it will take a regular expression and a new string. So this method returns a string in which first substring that matches the regular expression will be replaced by a new string. So it is a replacement of a substring. Again, where the matching replacement will take place, so that will take place in the first substring. So the same number of the same substring may be present in multiple locations in a given string. Then only the first one will be replaced. If we want all the substring to get replaced, then we have to use the replace all method. So this replace all method replaces all the characters that are matched by the regular expression with the new string. In our earlier example, we saw the replace method where it replaces only the specified index location. So here we are not specifying the index location. So instead we are specifying the characters that we should be replaced. So these are the additional methods in string class. So next the additional methods in the string buffer method. So the additional methods in string buffer class include the append code point. So just like the Unicode code points we discussed previously, here we can add a Unicode point into a string based on the index location. So this appends a Unicode point to the end of a invoking object. Here invoking object is a string buffer, and the reference to string buffer will be returned. Then code point at method. So this will return the Unicode point at a location I. So just like in string. Code point before. So this will return the preceding Unicode code point specified by the index I. Then code point count. So these are similar to strings. So it will return the number of code points between the starting and the ending. Then index of str. So here we can use this index of method to search for a string. So in a given string buffer, we can use this index of method to find the first occurrence of this particular string. So if there is a match, this method will return the index of the matching. So if the substring is not found in the string buffer, then it will return -1. Then index of string and starting index. So this method will specify where we have to search. By default, the searching will start with 0th index. So if we don't want it to start at 0, but to start at some other location, then we can specify the starting index also. So from this starting index, searching will take place. Again, this method returns an index position where there is a match. If there is no match, then it will return -1. So last index of. So it will return the last index of the given passed string. So whereas index of return the first occurrence, so last index of will return the last matching index. So similar to the index of method, it has again one more overloaded version. So this last index of takes one more, that is the starting index. So from where it has to start the searching. So the three more additional methods in this string buffer include offset by code points again. So this will return the index of on a invoking string buffer with offset these many code points. So where to start and how many code points to offset. So that is passed and it will return the index. So subsequence can be extracted again. So substring in a character array format. So character sequence or substring can be returned from this particular method. So by specifying the starting index and the stopping index. So again, this character sequence, it is specified in the character sequence interface. So that interface is being implemented by the string buffer also, just like string. Then one more method, void trim to size. So this method is can be used to reduce the size of a character buffer for the invoking object so that it fits only to the contents. So if we have only 5 characters and 16 bytes are allocated, then the remaining will be a wastage. So in that case, we can use trim to size so that whatever additional is present in the string buffer, that can be released. So it reduces the size of a character buffer for an invoking object to exactly fit the current contents. So these are the additional methods provided in string buffer class. So next we have the string builder class. So there is nothing much discussion on this particular string builder method. So this is being added in the Java 5 to provide some powerful abilities to process the strings. So it is very much identical to string buffer. So the only difference is, except for one important difference, is it is not synchronized, which means it is not thread safe. So thread safe means here, if multiple threads, so in a program there can be multiple threads. So thread is a lightweight process. So if multiple threads are accessing the same string variable, then some mechanisms are provided by the language so that when one thread is accessing, no other thread can access that particular value. So if one thread is writing a value, no other thread can read or write the values. So that is the thread synchronization which you have studied in the operating systems. So the same mechanism here, if multiple threads are there, then the safety is not provided. Safety here means synchronization. So synchronization is not provided in this particular one. So string builder is not synchronized for thread safety, whereas string buffer is thread safe. So the advantage, then what is the advantage if it is not thread safe? So it is faster, that's it. So the advantage of using string builder is it provides faster performance. So this is the only thing that differs string builder from string buffer. So rest all the APIs functions that we can use on string buffer are all present in string builder class also. So in our last class, okay, I had given the assignments, exercise, 3 very simple programs. So few of you have submitted and few have not submitted. So many of you have just, not used the APIs which we have discussed in the string class. So instead you have done it traditionally how you would have done in a C or C++ program. So the intention of giving these programs is to make use of the string APIs. So if you have not used the APIs, then you are not using the features that are being provided by Java. So you can look at the program on the screen. So the first exercise was to have a sentence and to print the number of words and number of vowels in that. So, and I told that you can directly assume the sentence in the program by hard coding it and no need to read it from the console. So here is a string S1. So we have a sentence over here. So we can also increase the sentence length. Okay. So sentence we have, so we have two variables, that is word count and V count, that is the vowel count. So how to count the number of words in this given sentence? So assuming it is properly structured, so each word is delimited by the space. So what we can do is we can simply count the number of spaces in this sentence and then we can return the number of spaces plus 1 as the number of words. So how to do it? So we will iterate over all the index. So for int I is equal to 0 till the length. So s1 dot length. So s1 dot length means string length. So increment. So we will take the each character at that index. So how to get the character? Using caret method. So s1 dot caret of I. So if it is equal to space. So space can be specified within this single quote. So put a single quote and then in the middle it is a space. So if there is a match, increment the word count. That's it. Finally, word count is equal to word count plus 1. So additional one is present. So it is the number of words is equal to number of space plus 1. So we can print it. That's it. Next, second one part was finding the vowels count. So the difference between these two is here we were just verifying for space. Instead of that, we will verify for AEIOU. So since each time this has to be extracted, so we can store that in a character C. So s1 dot caret of I is stored in C. Then for C we will compare C equal to A E I O U. So in any case we will increment the vowel count and then we will print it. That's it. So you can observe the output number of words is equal to 6, number of vowels is equal to 10. So it has printed. So next let us look at the second one. One was checking for a palindrome. So in order to check for a palindrome, so what we have to do is we need to have a reverse of a given string. So in order to have a reverse of a given string, we can use the reverse built-in method that is present in the string buffer class. So that is what was expected. But what many of you have done is just like, character by character you have taken and then you have just appended it to form a reverse. So just how you would have done in your first year C programming. Okay, so that is not here. So string buffer. So I have taken a string. Okay, let us make it palindrome. Then S1 is a string buffer. Then original string we are storing it in another variable string S2. So how to extract the string from buffer? So it is use calling toString method. So now by calling toString method, it returns a string so that we are storing it in one variable. So why we are storing initially? Because when we reverse it, the original string will be last in the string buffer. So s1 dot reverse. So what does this method do? It will reverse the string, and the reversed string is present in the string buffer s1 itself. So that's why we have stored it temporarily in s2. Now we will compare. So s1 dot to string dot equals s2. So how, in order to compare a string buffer contents, so we have to use, first we have to call toString, then we have to use equals method. So the parameter is anyway s2 is a string, so it will print whether it is a palindrome or not. So here you can see the output, it is palindrome. Now if we change this, and again let us execute and check. So you can observe it is not palindrome has been printed. So let us again make this as palindrome by putting 3 to 1 in the beginning. So it is palindrome, that's it. So in this program, the important thing was this calling this reverse and checking the equality through toString method. Okay. And the last exercise were a very simple one. So converting the string from lowercase to uppercase. So it is simple. A built-in method is present. So in almost all the programming languages, they provide a method to convert lowercase to uppercase to lowercase. So you can observe the output over there. So what is the need of converting this lowercase to uppercase? So in real world applications, what happens? Many reports we need to print, and they have to be in standard format. For example, when we print your IA marks list, okay, so we want everybody's USN to be in uppercase. So at that time, these kind of methods are useful. So whenever we are generating a PDF, so we'll use this. Or when you are logging in, so when you are logging into your, let us say, the JAMS portal, you will be entering your USN as the username. So username, you can either enter in lowercase or uppercase. So what happens when 3000 odd students are entering? So conveying them in a standard format or entering in a keyboard in either in lowercase or completely in uppercase, every time it may not be possible. So sometime auto suggest will take. So what we can do is, whatever you have typed in that particular login text box, through the program, we can automatically convert it into uppercase. So suppose, see here, some uppercase letters are already present. So these uppercase letters are unaltered, so they remain as it is. So even though integers are present or special characters are present in this particular string, so all those are unaltered, so they remain as it is. Only lowercase letters are converted. So in login application, also whatever you have typed before checking in the database, so we will convert it. We'll convert it into uppercase. So irrespective of whether you enter in lowercase or uppercase, so it gets converted. So instead of sending an error message to the user, so if the application itself does that, then it will make more user friendly. Or what happens many a times, whenever you are entering maybe your email ID or space, email ID or any details, you will pick it from the auto suggest. What happens in most of the cases, the auto suggest will have a space at the end. So that space, when we match it with the database, then the match will be a failure one, because most of the times at the end of email ID also, like this, when you enter gmail.com, there will be one additional space at the end. So while matching in the database, only this email ID is present, the space is not present. But when entering in the text box, that auto suggest has given you as additional space. So the string matching will fail. So in order to avoid these things, what we can do is, when you enter the email ID, this last space can be removed. So that process is called as trim. So many programming languages provide methods to trim this. Trim either at the end or at the beginning. So we can trim the spaces at the end, so that the user will never get to know that there is an additional space also. So, and user experience will be good. So with these topics, uh, we have completed the module 3. Okay, so as I mentioned in our first class itself, the syllabus content is very less. Okay, and these two modules will be the portions for the first internals. Okay, so we can stop here for today's class. So we'll continue the discussions in our next class. So you can enter your attendance in the chat window, and you can exit.